Hi. Hey, how
Hi.
you doing?
Good.
Uh,
How have you
I
been?
I'm doing fantastic. I am like extremely excited for this and also extremely nervous because
Mhm.
I need you to know I have like 10 open tabs on my computer right now and also 4 physical actual computers sitting in front of me that I like
Mhm.
want to like touch and talk about, and it's a mess here.
Now, I'm always
So,
excited to see how people prepare for this.
I don't think I'm going to get to everything I want to touch on tonight.
Mm.
So it's going to be a lot of collective chaos. But yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for being here. This is something I've been wanting to talk to you about for a long time.
Fantastic. I hope you like getting talked at about retro computing for an
Yes.
hour,
Yes.
because that's exactly what I'm about to do. Actually, you know what? Before we start, real quick, side tangent that's very related. My uncle just got me. He gave me his old Game and Watch,
Oh,
Mario Bros. Game and Watch
yeah,
for
I saw
Christmas,
that.
and that's such a fantastic, really thoughtful little gift, and it's
Mhm.
so cool. And it comes with he like kept the instructions and the pieces of paper that came with it,
Mhm.
which like nobody does. So it's so cool to have those too. And I
Yeah.
just thought that was so sick. I'm really bad at the game though. But yeah. So hi, I'm here to talk about old computing, and other electronics and media et al. Um, so yeah. So God, I had all this prepared. Where do I want to start? So I guess where I want to start is like like what got me into this kind of thing, because I some people ask me that, like, why are you into electronics and computers from an era of time that you weren't even born in,
Mhm.
like I'm a late 90s child. Why do you care about computing from the 80s and
Mhm.
late 70s, and I think, like, realistically, like my sort of my love for computers started with, when I was a kid. And I don't know if you remember what your first computer was that you like remember being able to like use and play with, but
Oh.
mine was the see-through candy iMac G3 in Bondi Blue, and it was one of my favorite computers, and I have so many like core memories growing up with that computer, and it really sort of like kickstarted my computer literacy.
Mhm.
And really really fantastic memory, Pajama Sam, playing Pajama Sam on that computer. And that really kind of started my love for computing. And I think it started when I like kind of like got nostalgia for that era. When I was like getting older, I'm like, oh, remember that computer that was like really cool, and I and I want that again,
Mhm.
so I started kind of like looking back at that era of computing, and that which is like early to what, 2000s. I think it's like 2003 or something.
Mhm.
um and that led me down a rabbit hole into sort of looking retrospectively back at computing from an era I was not a part of. And I just fell down a massive rabbit hole. and and now I'm here, and I own several computers
Mhm.
that are at least 20 years older than I am.
That's so cool though. Like I'm such a sucker for like obsolete technology and media.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't just collect, I also like preserve and
Mhm.
repair them as well. So, I also like, I love things that, you know, if they stop working, they stop working. Like being able to take care of something that is twice my age and being able to use it still is like, it's not just like, here's a cool collectible, but it's preservation. It's media
Mhm.
preservation, which I think is really important, especially when we kind of like move into an era where things are less physical and more, digital.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be able to preserve physical things, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like, so it was not only kind of just like a rabbit hole that I fell down, but also there's something about like the aesthetics of old computers which really draws me to them. Because again, back in the late 70s, early 80s, that was computer infancy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about what a computer is today, a lot of it, we've kind of figured out what a computer is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, like, computers nowadays are very highly customizable, and things that you could not do, you can now do, and you can swap out whatever part you want, and you can customize it to your heart content. But a computer is a computer. It's a box that's got plexiglass on one or two sides, and it's got a bunch of RGB shit in it, right? Like that's a computer. You got your monitors and your keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of gotten that down to a science. Back in the 80s, they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Right.
They had no fucking clue and made a computer. And it's so fantastic. If you just looking at the computers in my collection, each one of them is so drastically different to the next one, because no one knew what made a computer a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was trying to do something new and wacky and different, and one up their competitor and have something crazy and new that the other one doesn't have. And none of them look like each other. And it's so fantastic to just look at them, and each one is so crazy. I'm gonna send you a picture of one in a second here, the one that I actually have in front of me. But I mean, first of all, they come in different colors. I have one in front of me here that's in black, and I have white, and I have brown, and I have beige, and I have one that's silver plated. It's crazy. No one knew what they were doing. The shapes are weird. No one knew how to make a laptop for the life of them.
Right.
They're like 40 pounds. But I think I just like looking at them, because I love seeing how they tried to innovate, and the things they were trying and maybe failing at. And I brought a few computers with me because I wanted to kind of talk about one of the things I really like when I get a new computer. Something that I like looking at is the keyboard. No one knew. If you think about a modern keyboard, we know what a keyboard looks like. We've standardized the layout of a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go and you buy a new one from Best Buy and you open it up, you can plop it on your desk, and the muscle memory that you have from your old keyboard, you can carry that onto your new keyboard, and everything is where it should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at old computers, you could probably go through each and every single one of the ones I own, and none of them will have a standardized keyboard. No one knew what they were doing. Which is interesting to look like in retrospective, but really sucked for the end user accessibility at the time. Right. Can you imagine, I have a Commodore VIC-20 here, right? Mm-hmm. And imagine using that for 4 years, and then you go and you buy something like a Texas Instrument TI-994A. Not only do you have to completely relearn a different type of BASIC, because they run different BASIC programs, mm-hmm. the muscle memory you've had on that computer is not going to carry over to the next one. So you have to completely relearn how to type on your new computer, and it must have sucked really bad, to be fair. Yeah. But it's so fantastic. It's so crazy to look at. Because again, everyone was it was the Wild West back then, and no one, it was people throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks. And the thing that I really like looking at on these old keyboards and on the computers themselves is there's two types of keys that no one knew where to put, and it was the function keys and the arrow keys. No one knew what to do with arrow keys. And that's I don't know. I love looking at these old computers because people put the arrow keys in the craziest places. And that's why I brought some up here, because each one of these is completely different. And you can imagine how confusing these were. So, for my VIC-20, you had two keys, two of them at the bottom right. One did up and down, and one did left and right. Mm-hmm. And that's all you got. That's all you got. And then on the Texas Instruments computer, you have 4 arrow keys, but they're like shift locked, so you had to hold down shift to move your mouse around.
Oh.
And they are on the E, S, D, and X keys.
Oh.
What are they doing over there? What are you doing putting them over there?
Yeah.
That's not where arrow keys go. And then I have a TRS-80 micro color computer here, which is a little teeny tiny, like 10-pound thing, which has a chiclet keyboard, by the way. And I don't know if you know do you know what a chiclet keyboard is?
No.
If you look them up, so do you know what chiclets are, like the candy are?
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine a keyboard where the buttons they look like little chiclet candies, and they are horrible. It's a really bad style of keyboard. But on here, it's another shift function, and they are on W, A, S, and Z. What? Sure. And the image I wanted to send you was actually one of my favorite computers in my collection, which is the Commodore Plus 4. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit before I sent you this image, because the history of this computer kind of goes along with how dumb I think the arrow keys are.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know the Commodore PET?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's a very sort of older, iconic Commodore computer. It is, in fact, I can send you a Commodore PET to kind of just look at it, because I love the Commodore PET. It was not a good computer, like, they did some crazy stuff with it, but it's a very iconic Commodore early computer design. And when it came out, it was really popular in schools and universities.
Mm-hmm.
So Commodore at the time had a grip on the education market, and eventually they got really sort of screwed over and pushed out by Macintosh. And they took over at some point. And Commodore didn't like that at all. Yeah. Commodore hated that. They wanted that big buku university bucks. And they realized that, even back in the early 80s, most people use their computers for games. Of course, they're still gamers. Everyone was always a gamer. We've always been computer gamers, but
always been gaming.
But they didn't like that. They're like, no. We want to make a computer that's not for games. We want to make one that's for schools and businesses. Mm-hmm. So they came out with the Commodore Plus 4, which was supposed to be like their business. This is the business one, gang. Don't play games on this one. We've made the graphics card really, really bad, so you can't play games on it. And it's called the Plus 4 because it came with 4 productivity software things on it. And it turns out it was a big flop. It was a really big failure because nobody wants a computer that can just do spreadsheets. But the reason why I bring up that it's their business computer is because the way they decided to do their arrow keys is crazy to me. Yeah. So I'm gonna send you an image of their keys. But they are not keyboard buttons. Like, they are actual arrow-shaped buttons in the bottom right hand of the computer in like a DDR ass layout, and I love this computer because it doesn't make any sense. So why did you pick that layout when designing your business computer? Right. It is such a crazy design choice. But I love it. It's one of my favorite arrow key layouts I've ever seen. Like, yeah, make them actual arrow buttons. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's so cool. It's such a shame that it's part of a flop computer that nobody liked. Yeah. But it's wild stuff like that like, no one did that before, but they tried it and they innovated and nobody liked it, so they never did it again. But I love seeing that kind of stuff because, again, it's no one knew what made a computer a good computer. So right. Yeah, like that's I love that computer so much. It is so bad. Actually, my favorite computers are the ones that flop because they are usually either really interesting or they're very rare. So when you come across them, you're like, oh, this is something that nobody liked, and now I own it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so again, it's the design, the crazy design philosophies of early computing, and the wild and wacky shapes, you know, and taking risks. And I feel like we've kind of lost a little bit of that, you know. And not all of it was good. Not all of it were good risks, but yeah, it's one of my favorite things about looking back at old computing is just seeing all of the stuff that they tried, and some of it stuck, some of it didn't. You know. And I know you were talking earlier about how things are like becoming obsolete, right? Like you like, you know, obsolete stuff.
Yeah.
I've kind of been, you know, I was also thinking about like what sort of draws me to retro computing over, you know, modern stuff. And I think sort of, so anyone out there who really is likes tactile and like physical stuff may understand this, but I think in a way like computer personality has become a little obsolete, like things that we used to take for granted. And like, so well, I mean, it is kind of it's a bit of a comeback now, but like I have an Osborne one, which is a big like 60-pound quote unquote portable computer. But on it is so many like physical buttons and knobs and little clicky things, you know, and they feel so good to use. Right? Old computers were so physically tactile.
Oh yeah.
Big clunky buttons, and like that has a comeback. You know, that's coming back in the form of mechanical keyboards.
Oh yeah.
You know, that trend. People love their clicky keyboards. But you know, like physical knobs to adjust the brightness, physical knobs to adjust the contrast.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was so nice, you know, things that you press in, the big chunky on and off switches, floppy disk drives.
Oh,
it feels so good to put in a floppy disk.
It does.
It is so nice, and like the little chunk it does when it locks into place. It's that feels so good to do. And you know, we've lost that. You know, floppy drives have become obsolete.
Yeah.
DVD drives and CD drives have become obsolete. If we want to talk about that. Oh my god.
I miss not having CD drives on my computer.
I honestly, I mean, I was trying to find, so I just bought a new computer, a new computer. And for a while I was trying so hard to find a modern case that had CD bays, and it is impossible to find them even empty now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it hurts so bad.
Like, why is that something we had to get rid of?
I don't know. I still have a ton of CDs. I still have a lot of physical discs I would love to run, that I would love to use, and I don't know why they're just, you know, you don't even have the option to put in like an old drive anymore. They just don't make them with internal drive options, which drives me nuts. And which is kind of which is why I'm gonna like if I could I would have retrofitted an older case with new hardware, but that's a lot of work to do like a sleeper PC. But yeah, like physical CD drives obsolete, floppy drives obsolete. Honestly, most physical buttons, you know, things that are now, you know, just a sliding thing on your computer, gone, which is such a shame. Because I'm always a big proponent of like physical, manual, like analog, responsive buttons. And that's gone. But the other things that are like kind of becoming obsolete, which I think are a little bit. Maybe they've been disappearing a little bit more subtly than like actual physical buttons are. Do you remember when I commissioned you to draw me like Susan Kerr?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, when we're talking about like computer personality, I think back to Susan Kerr, who, if for people who don't know, is the woman who is responsible for not only the typography but also a lot of the iconography from the original Macs. And you know her work, right? Like if you've ever seen the smiling Mac icon, that's her. I have a blanket that has her Cairo typeface on it. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at her iconography, like it has such a charm to it. And a personality that I feel like is kind of withering away in modern computers. You know,
Yeah.
you don't get the little happy Mac when you boot up your stuff, and you know when you delete something, it's just a delete button. You don't get a little bomb icon that
Yeah.
blows up your things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's sort of fading away. But and the other thing that like there's that, and then also computers used to make so much noise.
Yeah.
Like audio design in computing is becoming obsolete, and it makes me really sad because when you think about like really iconic, you know, operating systems, like think about like Windows XP or Windows 98.
Mm-hmm.
What is like something that you remember from those things? And it's like, oh, it's the boot up noise,
Right.
you know, or it's when you click and made the clicking sound, or when you close a button and made a little bloop, and you know, scrolling made noise, and everything was like there to like let you know like things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
This computer had so much personality that I don't know. It's computers are becoming quiet, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give me my funny little boot up noises back, please. I want shutdown sounds back. Give me those back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me so sad thinking about like, you know, little tiny things that were there to give your computers a little bit of personality that have kind of gone by the wayside.
Yeah. Because I think another thing that's kind of just faded out completely is screensavers.
Oh my god, I cry when I think about how wonderful screensavers were.
I miss the 3D maze.
Yeah, like the After Dark screensavers and the 3D mazes, and you know the pipes,
mm-hmm.
and the bubbles, and the iconic bouncing, you know, square that never reached the corners, you know. And like I mean, obviously people aren't using CRTs anymore, so there's no reason for screensavers. But at the same time,
I still want them.
But yeah, at the same time, like it's nice to have. Like, give me the option, and like customizability of your desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. If you go into a Windows XP computer and like look at all the themes that you could turn your desktop into. Just gone, you know. I mean, you could set your you know background to be whatever you want, but like colors, you can't. You know, you've lost options.
Right.
Which sucks. See, I miss the screensavers. Actually, one of my favorite screensavers was actually, I don't know. Do you have a favorite screensaver? Is it the maze?
I think it was always the maze. Yeah, I liked having the 3D text where you could make it say whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Just having it say the goofiest shit pop up. I can't even remember what I would put on mine. Yeah,
I remember. I think the one that my parents picked was the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to stare at those pipes for way longer than I should.
Oh yeah.
But I also used to have a game called Insane Aquarium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you remember, you can like set your aquarium to be a screensaver, and you can watch your little fishies swimming around.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so fantastic, and I love doing that too. And I think you could still do that on the Steam version, but it's very like difficult to actually get it to work as a screensaver.
Right.
But yeah, like I miss screensavers so much. That's another thing I really want to get into collecting, which is like screensaver packs, like physical screensaver CDs. Oh, I want them so bad. But yeah, just so many things have kind of like gone by the wayside, which is a shame. You know, some of them have become obsolete, but it's still sad that they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah. So, okay, let me. Oh my god, I need to start closing out tabs because I have so many tabs open. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Do you know anything about like the demo scene?
Like for games?
Like so like graphics and music wise for old computers.
I think I know what you mean. Do you mean like I'm trying to think because there's so many things that fall under demos.
So usually like for older computers, like the demo scene is like let's take something that only has 16-bit graphics or whatever, and let's see how far we can push this software to create like a quick little demo of like, you know, here's a piece of art that I created in the Amiga software.
Right.
Pushing the software to its limits. Like, let's see how far we can make this thing go. And it's usually like they do it for music too. Like, how far can you make this music processor in this computer that's 40 years old? How well can you make a song, right? I would highly recommend looking at the demo scene because some of the Amiga demo stuff is crazy. The detail and the colors that they can get out of the Amiga. But I wanted to bring it up because the demo scene sort of spawned one of my favorite types of old art, an art form, really. Is it okay if I promo like certain websites?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a website called the Amiga Graphics Archive, which I would highly recommend looking at and checking out if you would like to see an archive of really fantastic art done on the Amiga. And I believe, let me go back real quick. It does like I think it's mostly just graphics. I don't know if they do music on here, but it's a lot of stuff from the demo scene. So like how it's pushing the Amiga graphics to their limits. But one of my favorite, they do games on here too. One of my favorite types of Amiga art is color cycling. And have you ever seen any type of like it's pixel art, color cycled pixel art?
I'm so bad with terms.
It's okay. Like, it's basically it's a pixel art scene that is, it's not really animated. It's it looks animated, but what they've done is they've taken a single, a static pixel, and they just made it cycle colors. So it gives the illusion of it having like animation, but it's a single pixel that is just cycling between a bunch of different colors over and over again.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite types of old pixel graphics to look at because they're just beautiful. And I wanted to bring up a specific one because it's my favorite one. I don't know. So, it's called Jumbo Dog. And the reason why I like Jumbo Dog so much is it reminds me very much of like Pajama Sam.
Yeah.
Sort of that kind of style. Very bright, very colorful. It is basically a hot dog that looks like an airplane and it's flying above, a cycled sky. And it looks beautiful. But the reason I bring it up is not because I want to talk about color cycling, which is a fantastic sort of art form that spawned from the demo scene, but also because the guy who made it, Jack Hager, is also he's the subject of another video that if you haven't seen it before, I highly recommend you do. It's called 4-Byte Burger, from the YouTuber Ahoy. And it's 30 minutes. I really highly recommend you check it out. But 4-Byte Burger is a pixel art piece that is of a burger. It's a burger that's got a floppy disk in the middle of it. Yeah, Vando's Ahoy. And it was one of those things where it was lost media. So we had a a picture of it, like a picture of a picture, basically, of what it looked like, but the actual physical digital version of it was lost. And the video is Ahoy basically trying to recreate this piece of art pixel by pixel and kind of bring it back to life in a digital format. And I highly recommend checking it out because, again, if you like art preservation and funky old computer stuff, I do highly recommend watching it because the process of making it is very interesting and cool.
Yeah.
Which resulted in having to turn an Amiga CRT on its side to draw it.
Oh.
Yeah. But the guy who made 4x Burger is Jack Hager, who also did color cycling. So I would highly recommend looking up his work because he does really fantastic stuff. Lots of really sort of nifty 80s graphics, but 4x Burger is one of my favorite images of all times. on top of Jumbo Dog. But here, in fact, actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep sending you links. Sorry, okay. I'm shitting up your DMs with links, but
that's fine with me.
Yeah, there's the Amiga graphics color cycling page, which is just really fun to look at, because if you hover over an image, it'll show you the color palette, and it'll also show you what the pixels are like colors the pixels are cycling between. So it's really fantastic to kind of like get a look at like, oh, yeah, you can watch each individual pixel and like what colors they're assigned to and how they move, which is great to look at. But in the same vein, a thing that you can, I'm gonna start promoting more shit because I love sharing this type of stuff with people. There's another creator named Mark Ferrari. I used to have a friend with this last name, and I feel very bad because it sounds different depending on who you ask. So I'm gonna call it Mark. I'm gonna call him Mark Ferrari. It was Ferrari. I'm so sorry. But he also did pixel work, and he also delved into color shifting, color cycling. And first of all, I would highly recommend go to his website, markferrari.com, and look at his pixel work just statically because they're beautiful. But you can also go to a website and you can watch them in person move. And these were originally created, I believe, back in 1994 for like an online calendar program called Seize the Day. So for each month there was an image, and it would cycle, it would animate, but it would also change color based on the time that you were viewing it at. So there was a full 24-hour color cycle as well, which is so cool to watch. And I do highly recommend going to his website, and like you can mess around and see what things look like at different times a day. But the reason why I bring it up is because all of those color cycling pixel artworks you can get on your phone now.
Oh.
It's an app called Living Worlds. I have it on my phone. It is all of his work basically ported over into an iPhone app. And it basically does the same thing. It's a calendar that shifts with the time, and there's a little hunt that you can go on because different scenes show up every once in a while. It's really fantastic. Highly recommend looking at his work too, because his art is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I actually have his art as my backdrops right now, like on my PC, because they're so nice. They are so nice. You could really stare at these for hours if you wanted to. Oh, and they have sound. I forgot that there's also sound. I just figured that out now when I clicked on one. But yeah, look into the demo scene. If you like art, there's definitely a lot of Amiga. Amiga was a really powerful PC. You could do a lot with it. A lot of really beautiful art and a lot of beautiful music. I don't know if you're like super into like 8-bit music. And
yes.
Okay. All right. Now I would highly I would look up like demo scene music from like Commodore 64, Amiga era stuff. Like just dive in. It's some really good stuff in there. But yeah, like I love how people can push these computers, which may have 16 colors, 32 colors, really push them to the limit to make some really beautiful stuff. Including something that you can have today, which is fantastic. I'm slowly getting rid of all of my tabs. Oh, it feels so good to get rid of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and like in that same vein, like, if you want to talk about like video games from that era, oh my god. Are you super into like Sierra titles or like old point and clicks?
I haven't played too many myself, but I do have a fascination with them.
Yeah, like again, it's one of those things where it's like looking at how people take the hardware and software that they had available to them and just make something beautiful out of it.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend, if you haven't played it, play Monkey Island. Oh, I cannot recommend Monkey Island enough. It has a fantastic soundtrack, fantastic art, fantastic humor, and it's not a point and click that you can die in. So you will not, it's not like a King's Quest where every single thing can soft lock you and kill you. So it's a good entry into the genre. Highly recommend it. And also, it's LucasArts, so if you want to go back and like look at LucasArts before they died, it's great. But yeah, oh my god, some of my favorite games come from this era, like King's Quest and Space Quest. Sierra Entertainment, everything Sierra does is like I'm a simp for. Yeah, Roberta Williams, Ken Williams. I could do a whole another hour just talking about Sierra Entertainment and how fantastic that they were. Yeah, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you like have really watched that much from Sierra. Any of the
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of playthroughs for their games.
Yeah. I just recently watched part of Phantasmagoria, that series. Which is FMV. God, I love FMV so much.
Oh, I adore FMV games.
I don't know how much you like or can tolerate the Game Grumps, but people have mixed feelings about the Game Grumps, and that's completely fair.
Yeah.
But they did just do a video where they basically did an interview with Roberta Williams, which is fantastic. Talking to her about Phantasmagoria, the first one. But they also just did a video where they brought on the two main protagonists from Phantasmagoria 1 and 2. The actual actors who like played the main characters, and they played through the first part of Phantasmagoria 2 with them. And it's really just fantastic to hear, their side of making, an FMV game. And, hearing about, like, having to do like 60 takes of them just standing in place and like picking their nose. Yeah. And staring at the person playing, like, come on, can you do something, please? Like, I can't be here all day. And it's just so interesting, like hearing an FMV actor talk about shooting it, because it's always so cheesy, but it's so fun. Yeah, and Phantasmagoria is great if you like cheesy horror. Really, really actually disgusting like death scenes though. Like they go crazy on the death scenes. It is not for the faint of heart. I feel bad for any 12-year-old kids who are like playing it, because it's like, oh, it's a funny game that I could play with my parents, and then like someone gets horribly killed.
Right.
Scarring children. Ugh. But yeah, like that era of gaming is so fantastic. Just like what they're able to do with the software that they have. And again, King's Quest, fantastic. I would highly recommend, watch playthroughs. You don't have to play the games. They kind of suck to play if you don't know how to play them. 5, 6, and 7 of King's Quest, fantastic. Go check them out. Beautiful music, beautiful graphics. Oh, I love that. I love that era of point and click so bad. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, so it's and I know, like, I'm talking a lot about computers because that's kind of my main hyper fixation is computers. To be fair, but like, and do you have I'm gonna throw it over to you for a second. Do you have like a favorite type of like old obsolete media?
Oh. I mean, it's not really obsolete anymore because obviously it has a big comeback and it's super relevant again. But I love collecting vinyl records.
Yes.
For Christmas, Jackie got me 2 vinyls from my favorite band, The Deer Hunter. But I also have a collection of VHS tapes that are all like in pristine condition that I got at my thrift store.
My mother thinks I am out of my mind for wanting to collect VHS tapes. And I mean, the only TV I have in my house right now is a 100-pound CRT, and I had to carry that up 3 flights of stairs, pray for my back. But the only thing it plays is VHS tapes, and she's like, why do you want these things? I'm like, 'cause I want like physical. I want more physical media,
right?
And it's so fun getting to collect old VHS tapes, and watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail on VHS tape is like an unparalleled experience. Yeah.
Like, I have all my VHS tapes, but I don't have a VCR. I have to go hunt down one to actually watch these tapes on and try and find a CRT. Like, I think it'd be so fun. Like, this is something I wanted to poke your brain about. I don't know if it's possible.
Right.
But I want to find a way to, like, screen share through Discord or OBS, like a VHS player.
You can do that. You can do that. Yes, you can. It would probably be basically the same setup, just a little bit different, that I had, where I was, where I basically put OBS on my CRT, and I slapped my VTuber onto my CRT.
Yeah.
Literally all you would have to do is like, just that's a very long discussion, and it takes some specialty wires, but that's 100% possible. I know that's possible.
Yeah. Because like I have all these VHS tapes, and I'm like, I would love to like watch these with my friends, but I can't obviously get them to my house to watch them.
Right. I would have to go over and look at the wire setup that I had to make it work for me, but it's like like one of those like analog to HDMI converters, and you're gonna have to have like you're gonna have to have a VHS that has audio video outputs, and it'll take some work, but I know that that's possible.
Yeah,
so
I do a converter, like I think it's AVI, that I had for my Wii in order to capture that. So I don't know if that would work on a VHS player. I guess it would have to have the same outputs.
Yeah. And like, all you have to do is connect up to like, you could probably do like a laptop or something and like get OBS open, and you could probably screen share.
Yeah.
That I think it's possible. I think we have the technology to do that.
I love combining like old and new tech. Like, I don't know if you watch any of the Wayne Radio TV group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because my favorite streamer ever, besides my girlfriend, is Scorpy.
Good save there, by the way. Gotta make sure you throw that one in there.
Yeah. Look, I know her favorite streamer is Holly, so
yeah.
I don't blame her.
Scorpy is fantastic. I love Scorpy.
But yeah, she sent me Jackie sent me this post that Scorpy did on Tumblr where he like detailed all of the equipment he uses. And like how he uses like a Sony Handycam for his webcam so he can have the UI on screen, which is like my favorite thing. And I love seeing people incorporate like old and new technology.
Yeah, like I I need my new computer before I can really get whacking crazy with it. But I also need a little bit more space. But I have my old Handycam sitting here, ready to go.
Yeah.
I have my old CRTs that I want to hook up and like use as displays. I don't know if you saw that one post on Twitter where it was the guy who had his like his streaming setup, but the entire thing was just a real life recording of a bunch of CRT monitors.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, so like chat was in a specific CRT monitor, and then he had like his face cam below it in a dedicated CRT monitor, and then like his his workbench was in another one, and then it.
Yeah, I had Shiver actually sent me that this morning, and I was like losing my mind.
Yeah, and then of course like he blows your mind by being able to actually walk in front of it and like show you what he's working on. Like, whoa!
I was like
so
screaming.
Cool.
I'm like, I love it when people do insane shit like that for streams.
Yeah, like, oh. Now if I had 3 or 4 very specifically sized CRTs, I'd be stealing that in an instant. But sadly, I don't. But I would love to do something like that one day, where I had like a physical camera showing an actual CRT, but like my VTubers in the CRT, you know, and it's both digital and analog, and you can shove things in front of the screen and be like, look, I'm real. But I'm also in the TV. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would really want to mess around more with like integrating more analog stuff. I mean, I still have that payphone microphone over here somewhere.
God, yeah.
Which I have not plugged in a very long time. But if I ever get a Focusrite that has two dedicated output slots, one is going to be dedicated to the to the payphone microphone. Stuff like that is just so fun. I love doing that. I love giving old technology new life and like just do stuff with it. Oh my god. Save it from landfill, save it from dumps. Take your old stuff and do something fun with it, like, please.
Yeah, I think like the pride and joy of my obsolete media collection right now is I have a laser disc of Jaws.
Oh my god, that's so sick.
I got it for like $3 at a thrift store, and I'm so in love with it. It's the only laser disc I own because I never thought I would collect those, but I just cherish it so dearly.
Now, do you have a Laserdisc player?
No.
Those are much harder to come by.
Oh, yeah. It's actually funny because when I went to the thrift store, I was just like going through their records because I love collecting records. And I saw the Jaws one in there. I'm like, oh, cool. Jaws soundtrack on vinyl? And I opened it and I'm like, this is not a vinyl.
No.
But there was another guy next to me going through the records. And he saw me pick it up, and he, like, turned to me and just started talking my ear off. He's like, yeah, I actually collect Laserdisc players. I had a Laserdisc player that I hunted down that didn't work, so, like, I had to go on a hunt for, like, another one that's actually functioning. And the whole time he was talking to me, it became more and more obvious he was, like, trying to get me to give him the Jaws Laserdisc I found.
Absolutely not, sir.
And I was just like, yeah, that's really cool. Anyways, bye, and I left to go buy it so I could have it myself.
Absolutely not. No, you have to be cutthroat
in
the Goodwill. Like I collect I collect like cassette tapes. You know, I have a cassette player. And yeah, no, it's like no. Like I'm gonna get Sweet Dreams on cassette. And you're not taking this away from me. I think my favorite cassette is my Dolly Parton CD. Listening to Jolene through like the world's shittiest like cassette player is like chef's kiss.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think my love of obsolete media came from the fact that I always had hand-me-downs growing up. So like I had like my childhood computer, I don't know the exact model, but it was like a really old Mac that was way older than I was. And
I could probably figure it out, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But yeah, like I listened to music on cassettes mostly growing up. Like it was a big deal when I got to upgrade to CDs in the early 2000s when everyone else had way been on that train. Like my mom had a Walkman, but I wasn't allowed to use it because it was really expensive at the time, and we were a very poor family. And the day she handed that down to me because she got an iPod, I was like losing my mind. I'm like, oh my god, I can listen to CDs on the go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think we had an 8-track player at one point too. So like we had a big collection of 8-tracks, and I'm so sad that I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I have an 8-track player, but unfortunately I don't have like the big honking like speakers you gotta have with it. And I'm still trying to like find a good pair of speakers I could drag up here so I can actually use my 8-track player.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it's...
You know what? I just remembered another piece of obsolete tech that I think you might get a kick out of. I have an alarm clock that plays hit clips.
Oh, the hit clips! Oh my god. Yeah, like what, the 50 seconds of a song? Do you want 50 seconds of Britney Spears' Toxic? Yeah, of course I do.
Oh yeah, I definitely had the Toxic hit clip when I was a kid.
Yeah, give me 50 seconds of NSYNC directly into my earbuds, please.
God, yeah. Not even earbuds. It was earbuds singular with hit clips.
True. Oh, yeah, no, God, if I ever find hit clips, I'm definitely picking them back up again. They were so bad. But you have an alarm clock that plays hit clips?
Yep. And the one I bought came like preloaded with hit clips, so I have like 6 of them.
Whoa. Here I am, like I'm over here trying to find like the Nickelodeon slime alarm clock. That's my white whale. Oh, do you want to know my white whale of computers, of old tech that if anyone sees one of these out in the wild, I will pay you all of the money in my bank account to get one. And I'm not joking. Look up the Leon Lee aquarium PC case.
Oh.
I'm dead serious. Look it up. I don't know if I'm ever gonna find one in my life, but if I do, it is over. I can retire.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I love it so much. It's my white whale. I already love like fake bubbler, like fish bubblers. I actually have a bubbler tube sitting on my like windowsill over there because I just love it so much. And the fact that you shoved one in the side of a PC and it lights up and has fake fish in it, like, are you kidding? That's peak PC design. Are you serious?
This image is so big.
Yes. Yes. If anyone ever comes across this PC in a thrift store, even if it's just the panel, I don't care if it's just the panel, DM me instantly. Yeah, that is my white whale, which I love old, like the aquarium aesthetic when like everything was aquarium. I love that so much. Like, do you remember the old aquarium nightlights? That were just a piece of paper that like rotated.
Yeah, oh my god, I had one of those. Core memory unlock.
Yeah. I had one of those too, and they were fantastic. And it's that's what this reminds me of. The whole aesthetic of like fake fish, fake aquarium stuff is just mwah, chef's kiss. Yeah, Holly, yeah, exactly. The baby soothers is, or for me, the 27-year-old soother. But yeah, that is my white whale of old obsolete PC stuff. With dolphins, yep. I think I had a dolphin one too.
Yeah, I think I had a Pokemon one at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember those? Speaking about dolphins, do you remember those like weird lamps that were like made out of like plastic beads that were fused together to like create a shape. And they were like, and it lit up on the inside, and they're usually like fish or dolphins or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
I had one of those too. Those were fantastic. I'm sure that was like super toxic or whatever, but yeah. Yeah, I've been searching for one of those for so long. Same thing with like lava lamps. God, I love me a lava lamp.
I was just staring at my lava lamp that I have on my desk.
I also have one of those like lightning, like static lightning orbs.
Oh my god, yeah.
All those little novelty like things to engage your brain is I love them so much.
Yeah, it's like things I would have killed a man for as a child, and now that I'm an adult, I can just buy those.
Yeah, like, I didn't get to have a lava lamp. I didn't get to have the funny lightning orb, and now that I'm an adult and have money, I can get them for myself. And yay, I can indulge a childhood fantasy. Yeah. There was one more website that I wanted to like direct people towards, just because another small interest of mine is old robots.
Oh, I love robots.
Robbie is one of them, but there was a bunch of Radio Shack robots that they did.
Oh my god.
All the Tomy robots, if you are super into old robots, I highly recommend going to theoldrobots.com. It looks like an old 90s website. It documents tons and tons and tons of old robots, starting from like the 1940s all the way up until like today. So any kind of robot that you want like the little, what are those little it has all the Tomy bots. It has like Omni Junior, Omnibot. There is what were those things called? The little like animal ones that just kind of walked back and forth. I think were from Tomy. All of like the robot dogs, like Aibo and Rob is in there. All these fantastic robots. If you have time and you love that kind of stuff, please go check it out. It is so fantastic.
And that's theoldrobots.com?
Yeah, theoldrobots.com. It even has like the robot dog from Jimmy Neutron is in here.
Goddard?
Yeah, Goddard.
I had a Goddard toy. Yeah, that would like walk around on his own and bark, and I loved that thing to death. Yeah. So that's like one of my like what are those called? Yeah, Chirpy Cheese. Remember Chirpy Cheese? Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm scrolling through the website again. I'm like, oh my god, these are all these robots that I really wanted as a kid and I didn't get to have. Oh man. All of like the robots from what was that company called? The one that did like the really fancy like Roboraptor.
Oh my god, yeah, I always wanted those as a kid.
I even to this day I don't have any of those.
Same.
But Robosapien, that was the one the little dude I was thinking of. I would always see them at like, I think they're called like Cornerstone stores or something like that.
Yeah.
Walking around outside. I never got one. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll actually I'll have a robot.
I mean, that's what Throne's for now. Exactly. Wink, wink. Gonna go shove some like Tomy bots on my throne. But yeah, I go check out that website. It has every single robot you would ever want if you are super into old toy robots and stuff. Androbot, even from like good website. Even like Armatrons, like the Radio Shack Armatrons, which I also want. I want an Armatron. God.
But yeah. So that is. I have finally cleared out most of my tabs. there was some other stuff in here, but I think it's too much of a tangent. Like, I was gonna talk about the Vectrex, just because I love the Vectrex, and I love vector displays.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're interested, go look up the Vectrex. It's a vector video game console. The screen is in portrait instead of landscape. It's wild. Yeah, it's a video game console that uses vector display instead of pixels, and it's really cool. And they're hard to get a hold of, and I want one really bad.
I love that.
Yeah. All right, I think I finally cleared out most of the stuff that I was prepared to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my god, listen, if you ever just want to bug me about old stuff at all, my DMs are always open. If you have any if you have any questions how can I get this set up to a PC, I would gladly help you try and figure that out. I love that stuff. Final thoughts. Go check out Ahoy. Go check out his 4x Burger video. It's fantastic. It's really good. It made me cry at the end. LGR is a creator that I love a lot. 8-Bit Guy, another creator that I love a lot. And if you like pixel art, go check out Mark Ferrari and his Living World series. Yeah. That's all the promos I'm going to shove in your face. Man, thank you so much. I really appreciate getting to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
My throat is starting to hurt because I've been talking so long.
No, this is something I've been wanting to talk to you about forever, so I'm glad I had this excuse to, and that's the whole reason I wanted to start doing these streams.
Yeah, again, in my inbox is always open if you ever just want to if you see something that you think I'd like, you want to show me, feel free. I'm always excited to see people. I mean, it's my special interest, but seeing other people engaging in my special interest is fantastic. I love getting people into this stuff. So yeah.
Everyone go follow Cali right fucking now.
This is not asking.
I'm literally not asking.